Grandies and Granddad's, what's happening? She got a black abstract. You're locked in once again, and I appreciate you for it. So the Harder They Fall was released yesterday. Finally, I know I did the review to the song that Jay-Z, Conway, and Jadakiss did, and for some reason I thought the movie was out already. Turns out that wasn't the case. Listen, if you're wondering why I'm not in my studio, it's because I had a little issue. As you can see, your boy is on crutches, so my studio's down in the basement, and right now it's a little difficult, man. I got a broken ankle, gotta go in for surgery tomorrow, but that's neither here nor there. You know, that's not really your guys' problem, it's mine. So let's talk about this movie, The Harder They Fall. And it's weird because soundtracks normally don't come out till the movie is out or about to come out or the same day of the movie. So I thought this was kind of strange. But listen, I see why maybe they did it, because the soundtrack is played throughout the movie, and they probably just wanted people to kind of get used to the songs, and it fits well in their capacity. When you see the songs with the movie, you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense why they saying this or why they doing this or why they doing that. But listen, the movie stars Idris Elba as Rufus Buck, who is pretty much like an outlaw. He robs banks. He's a very bad man. Stars Zazie Beetz, Regina King, the most amazing Regina King as always. Jonathan Majors, who played in Lovecraft Country and plays King the Conqueror on Marvel. Lakeith Stanfield, who's on everything. You know, a guy named R.J. Cylinder, who plays Jim. And Delroy Lindo, who played on one of my favorite shows, and I was mad that he left, which was not The Good Fight. Was it The Good Fight? Yeah, it was The Good Fight. I'm thinking of The Good Wife. And then you got a who's who of characters in between here. You got Dion Cole, you got Woody McClain, Daniel Deadweiler. So it's a who's who of characters inside this particular movie. Hold on, let me fix this camera for a second. Sorry. Alright, sorry. And I'm using a different camera. I normally use my webcam. I'm using my Canon. So, bear with me. So the movie, and it's going to be spoilers. Let me give you some spoiler warnings. There will be spoilers in here because I don't see how the hell I could talk about this without talking about spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, listen, pause this, come back, and then, you know, we'll get back into it. So, the movie centers around Jonathan Majors' character, pretty much on a quest for revenge. And I know you're thinking, revenge for what? That's what it says in the description of the movie. Rufus Buck, who played by Idris Elba, is this lawless character. At the beginning of the movie, we see he walks inside the house of Jonathan Majors, Jonathan Majors' character, whose name is Nat Love, at the age of 10, shoots his mom and shoots his dad in cold blood, takes a knife and carves a cross in this boy's forehead. And we don't see it at the time what he carves. We just see the boy screaming, but that's what he did. So flash forward, we see Nat Love's character, who was played by Jonathan Majors, is all adult now, and he's somewhat of an outlaw himself now. But the thing is, he's in the same vein as Omar Little, where he only steals from drug dealers. Yes, that's it. He only steals from outlaws, bank robbers, etc., etc., because he don't take from regular folk. And we see that he's on a quest to kind of get revenge for all the people that were responsible for the death of his mother and father, because that's all he had. You know, listen, back then it looked like he was living good. The house was well did up. I'm like, oh, they living good wherever they had corn cob on the joint. They had nice chicken. He was dating an old girl from I forget her name. She cold too though. But he dating an old girl. I'm like, oh, and I forget the actor. He's a main actor. I forget his name. That was at the beginning of the movie. He done played in everything. But like I said, it's a who's who of people in here. Not really too good with a name. This is what I love about black actors and actors in general. Cause you see that, oh, I know him. You might not know their name. I know him. Where'd I know him from? Oh, I can't. I know dude, he a good actor. Like, that's what it was here. Like, oh, I know him. that's such and such. Where'd I know him from? He got it was a bunch of that in here. But yeah, he's in a quest. He's knocking everybody off. And then we see he's also an outlaw himself. So he kills a priest or a pastor or some guy that's in the church, and he tells the priest or another pastor, if you turn this guy in, you'll get this from. And then he was just like, well, why don't you turn him in? He was like, because I'm worth such and such. Like I'm worth more than him. So we see Jonathan Majors' character is actually dating Zazie Beetz' character, whose name is Mary Fields, and she's like a singer. We see her at the show, and I guess they had like a falling out for the simple fact that his what's the word I'm trying to look for? He's been on his mission, so it's just been causing distance between the two. They wind up kind of canoodling. But listen, Nat Love has a crew as well, and they do the same thing. So they show his crew, which consists of same thing. A lot of people, I don't know this, but Bill Pickett is one of the guys, and Jim Beckworth, who is supposed to be like the fastest gun-toting dude in the West at the time. He thinks he is, but I guess Cherokee Bill, who's played by Lakeith Stanfield's character, is also known as the fastest slinger in the West. So Jim Beckworth wants the opportunity to meet this, and I love this kid's ambition, and I love just his smart, sadistic attitude that he had. But yeah, they wind up robbing some bank robbers, and come to find out these guys work for Rufus Black, who supposedly is locked up at the time. But word is getting around that he's supposed to be out or pardoned, and to get back to Nat Love. Right at that time, Delroy Lindo's character, Bass Reeves, come in, and he acts like he's apprehending Nat Love, but really they hatched a plan to kind of get Rufus Black. But the crew, Nat Love's crew, knows this, and they follow him anyway, and then they all wind up kind of meeting. Aside from this, you get introduced to Rufus Black character and how they broke him out of jail. Who didn't love that scene? When they broke him off that train, Regina King, in all her glory, she's just such an amazing actress, and she was one of the characters to me that really stole a show in this movie. Lakeith Stanfield did an amazing job as well. Idris Elba always does an amazing job, but Idris Elba really didn't have too much in this, and you really don't understand until the end of the movie why he did what he did to this particular family. And then once you find out, you're like, oh wow, that's why, and it kind of makes sense, and it kind of puts things in perspective. But that scene when they get him off the train, and just to see how quick Lakeith Stanfield's character is when he slices the guy, and then come to find out that the men on the train were wanted for like robbing, raping, and pillage a village of people, and they were actually outlaws, even though they were supposed to be military or whatever they were. And they wind up getting Rufus Black, who's in this armored cage. This is how they got him, just in some armored box, locked up. And then the one scene where it just says, one of you guys know how to drive train? And with so many nuances in between, where they trying to get the door open and even get to Rufus Black. And I'm like, yo, this is like good stuff. And why we've seen better black westerns, the Django being one of them, and we didn't really see anything new on this. It was just the cast that kind of kept this movie afloat. It was the people who are polished actors who are dedicated to this craft, and the fact that it was an all-black cast mostly. This was just a great movie for what it was. You know, obviously it's not the best Western movie, but it wasn't the worst either. And I thought it was decent. I thought it was decent. I'm not gonna say it was trash. I thought it was good. But jumping ahead, once they get him free, he settles into a town which is run by Dion Cole's character at the time, and we see how ruthless Buck is, and that Dion Cole scene when he knocked his teeth out, I'm like, oh, I felt for him. I really felt for him. Actually, I didn't feel for him. I was just like, I'm glad that ain't me. Knocked all his golds out his mouth. And I like the fact that they had little swag pieces like that. Like the guns had gold on them or gold trim. Some of the verbiage wasn't necessarily Western. It was like modern day vernacular. I'm like, okay, I see what they getting. It's just like an urban movie with a Western background, pretty much. But yeah, Idris Elba's or Rufus Black has settled into this town. He learned that his money got stolen by Matt Love's crew, and they kind of know that they're going to be looking for him. Which they do. Zazie Beetz goes on a dummy mission. She ends up getting captured. I'm like, oh, what is she doing? But and that's what I didn't like. It's just like they had her there to kind of play the damsel in distress role. The girl that had to be rescued. And we see this in every fucking movie. It's just like, come on now, like stop it. And then we get down to the nitty gritty. They got to go on a couple of missions to kind of get Zazie Beetz back. He wants them to rob a bank and yada yada yada. Just the filler stuff. And then we get down to the big showdown at the end. And it was a lot of shooting, bloods, and gory. Like I said, this wasn't the best black Western movie we've seen, but it was decent. It was nothing new. But when you get down to the bottom of why Rufus Black did what he did, and it's because Rufus Black and Nat Love, Jonathan Major's character, are actually brothers. And their dad, who was reformed and this good man that we saw at the beginning, was actually a piece of crap at one point in time. He had a alcohol or drug abuse problem, and then he wound up killing Rufus's Buck's mom, cold blood, in front of him, and left him there. And he had pretty much a mission to find revenge and find his pops his whole life, and he finally did. And when he did, Jonathan Major's character, who was Nat Love, was happened to be there, and he said he carved the cross on his forehead so he'd know when he came back to get him one day, he would remember who he was. And he just told him, like, listen, take your revenge. He was like, you are me. We're the same person. Why you think you are who you are? He said, you're like me, you're ruthless. You're more ruthless than me. He said, because I wasn't able to kill my brother. And he said, that's something you're going to be able to do. And I'm like, oh, man. That's crazy. The scene where Regina King is telling Zazie Beetz how she cut the young girl's throat for throwing something or hitting her sister with something. Brutal. Great storytelling by Regina King. I love Regina King in this movie. To me, she was the star. She was the star, and Jonathan Major's character were the two standouts for me in this movie. You listen, I'm a music guy. I rate everything by mics. So, with that being said, out of 5 mics, I'm going to give this movie 3. A solid 3. That's not bad. That's not worse. While there was room for improvement, there's a lot of things that could have been worked on or fixed. Thought it was a good watch overall. So let me know what you guys thought about it. Post your comments below. Like and subscribe if you fuck with this video. I know, like I said, I know I'm not in my normal studio. Bear with me till I get my shit fixed. And we're gonna rock and roll. So peace, love, and prosperity. 1.